so. Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound.
I've been playing a game that, according to my Steam page, does not unlock for another 5 hours.
Oh.
But at the time of recording, I've been playing Not Tonight 2.
Oh.
Now, anyone who's checked the site out knows that I absolutely adored the original Not Tonight game, which was set in a dystopian post-Brexit Britain, where you play a bouncer at a nightclub, and it kind of takes essentially the only way I could put it, it's like a British version post-Brexit Papers, Please.
Yeah.
With a deep, twisted story that doesn't hide its political leanings in all the right ways. And I applaud them for not going, oh, let's play it down the middle. They just go, this is our political leanings, this is what we're going into. And I thought it was a really, really good game, mechanically sound along with a really good story. And I thought they got the Britishness of it spot on as well. Now, the developers have made a sequel to that. It's Panic Barb again developing. No more robots, rather. Again on publishing duty. So same team as before. Except this time, Not Tonight 2 is set in the United States, and it starts on the 31st of December 2020. So you started on New Year's, leading into 2021, and it's kind of almost like it's done as though Trump-style president has got what they want, and America has completely fallen into ruin. Protest is illegal. You can be declared a terrorist for absolutely anything. But you're a bunch of guys and girls who are going out to protest. One of your friends gets arrested for what seems like no other reason than protesting. But he gets taken to like this detention camp in Florida, Patriot Camp, I think it's called. And while there, he's kind of regarded as, like, talked about as a special guest. So they keep referring to him as a special guest. So it's clear there's going to be an important story arc coming with this person, and it turns out they go, oh, you must be an immigrant, your name's Eduardo, or Eduardo, so you must be an immigrant, and if you can't produce your papers, you're going to be, kept here, but if you can produce your papers in 30 days, then we'll let you go. So you have to get your friends who you're protesting with to try and get your papers and everything, and they've got to come across a broken America to sort of like deliver your papers and ID and passport and everything to this gulag, essentially. But you've got to earn money as you go. So it keeps the exact same core mechanics as the original Not Tonight, where you take on bouncer jobs and everything, and you have to ID people, let people in and out the club based on the rules you get. You get punished if you don't let the right ones in, or if you let the wrong people in and stuff like that. It's got that core mechanic. I'm a couple of hours in at the moment, and it's enthralling. When I first heard about this, I wasn't sure how it would translate to being in America, because the way it was done, it was definitely sort of like a post-Brexit political statement that they made. And I wasn't quite sure it translate, because America's kind of settled down now, whereas when Not Tonight came out, everyone was still unsure about what was going to happen in the UK. We still are. But America's kind of settled down in terms of a post-Trump world now. And I've got a feeling this was being made with a Trump still in power kind of ideology to it. But it worked really well. It's definitely an alternate what could have been type feel to it. And even though it plays it over the top, it doesn't feel too far from where your imagination was going if Trump had got a second term. Really interesting game. Really interesting.
Yeah, it sounds okay. I'm not sure if I'm drawn to it or not. Does it? What would draw me to it, I think, is if it has clever dialogue and conveys its message really well and subtly and stuff like that. Do you feel it does that?
Early on, I think in the scene setting, it's a bit on the nose. It does feel a bit... I'll try to fit the right words. look what's happening, stuff's happening, and this is what you've got to do, and we're on this side. It feels like she tries to gut punch you earlier than the original Not Tonight did. The original one kind of gently took you through it, and then you started like punching you in the gut in all the effective ways. This tries to go early, but I think it's doing it based on the fact that, look, people, if you're playing this, chances are you've played Not Tonight, so we don't need to ease you in. So that would be the one thing. If you're going into this fresh, I think you might be taken aback a bit. You'd need to play the first one first, even though it's not important to play it. It's definitely a standalone story in the most part. But, I mean, again, what I would say is, have you played Papers, Please?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
What was your thoughts on that in terms of the gameplay mechanics?
I thought they were really good, but the thing with that is that I was done in about half an hour on the first run.
Yeah.
And I think I did another couple of runs, and yes, it was like, I played it probably for an hour and a half tops, and it was perfectly suited for that duration, but I'm not sure if I'd go any longer.
Yeah. Right, so this is linear. This is a lot more linear. It's a story-based thing, and it is quite sort of like, you've got to get to here. You've got 30 days to do it, in-game 30 days. And you kind of go through the flow with it. So it's rather than Papers, Please, which was entirely here are the mechanics and the story's building around you in sort of like not obvious ways. This is kind of like story beat, interactions, click here, go there, game mechanics. So, and then sort of like you use those really as a way of earning money more than anything. But it's got the Papers, Please mechanic, which I found really satisfying. There's something satisfying about taking IDs and that from people, dragging them, and then deciding what to do from there. But yeah, it's got a few other bits. I haven't come across all of these yet, but there's like some rhythm games and cooking type things going on. There's a few extra little bits they put in there which add some silliness to it, which I'm okay with, because the one thing I found about Not Tonight, it was bleak.
Yeah.
And it needed something now, because even in bleak times you can have a laugh, because you have to. We know this, like, from the mental health side of things, and I think what this has done is address that and add some fun into it in the right moment so far, which is good. There's not like a moment where everyone's grieving for something and then let's just go bowling or anything like that. We're not talking like GTA 4 style annoyances. Let's have fun at the wrong moments. But yeah, and it's what's really interesting. The ID check-in's really good. I mean, I went up the first level. It went, everyone's got to be over 21. And obviously the game's set in like end of 2020, so it's like, and it comes up with something. I'm going, oh crap! I don't know when someone should have been born. My brain just could not work out what year someone was born to be 21 on the 30th of December 2020.
Oh dear!
I got right. There was one. It came up 1981, someone's birthday, which is the year I was born, and I'm going, are they? Look, I'm 40. Of course they are. So, but yeah, it's really good. So, a couple of points to note. There's a diverse character set in there. It's when I had to go and check this, because they've written people of different nationalities and people of colour really, really well. We spoke about this a few weeks ago about how to write about people of colour. And I went and checked this because I was like, it seemed really natural. It didn't seem like there was any shoehorning in of, oh, look, this person's black or this person's like Asian or anything like that. It wasn't shoehorned in and trying to telegraph it. But it was done in such a natural way that it wasn't sort of hiding it either. It wasn't going, I'll tell you what, they're all white characters, but we'll make this one have darker skin. You could feel the differences in culture. So I went and checked it, and in the stories, they're all written by a team of people of colour authors. Right, yeah. And that shines through. And again, it shows why we need these voices in video games more and more. Yeah, the one complaint I've got does come from accessibility. It's got like the dialogue trees and everything are in like a light background, and then it's got a light font over a slightly darker background. It's got a sky blue one. It's totally like a text message style with white text on it, and I found it really difficult to concentrate for a long time on the text because it was hurting me to have to do it. Right. So, again, the one argument I would have, one complaint, is accessibility. Just do me an inverse of those dialogue boxes. It's all we need.
Yeah.
With something like that. Everything else it's spot on. It feels spot on. They seem to have the balance right. So, but yeah, it's just one simple change. If you don't want to fully voice it, which would have helped, and I get why they might want to fully voice it, you've got to do something. So that would have done there. But it's a shame because, again, the dialogue in itself is written really well and it flows really well. Even the decisions they get you to make, it flows naturally. And again, it's generally A or B decisions. And I don't know what effect it has in the long run with stuff. So far, it doesn't feel like it's had an effect. But again, I suppose it's added interactivity just to keep you going while they're talking. But yeah, it feels natural, flows brilliantly. I really like the bouncer mechanics that are with it. And yeah, just a good, solid game. A couple of hours into it. I'm probably going to finish it over the course of a couple of weeks by giving it like half hour to an hour each day. But yeah, highly, highly recommended, especially if you like the first one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, no, so just what you're mentioning about the voices of people of colour, that's really important. Yeah, I think that's great. Just to clarify, though, what we were saying a few weeks back is we were talking about how not to do voices of people of colour. Like, we wouldn't be able to say how to do voices of people of colour. We were saying, like you said, that it was very important to have those voices in because we have no idea how to write those sorts of things, and clearly most authors of these games don't either. So it's really great that they've been included. I'm glad to hear that, and that actually sways me more towards wanting to buy it than anything else.
Yeah, I think again to set up. Not just because of that, but I think it's good to show that actually if you get these authors and these writers and these voices in to video games, people will buy them.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get to the point where that doesn't... I mean, it is, I believe... Let me just check the Steam page, actually. 2 seconds, because I believe it's in some of their marketing. I wonder if it's on their Steam page as well.
I would be amazed if it was. I would be very, very pleased.
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh, that's
Under
great.
their features, 3 compelling stories written by a team of POC authors.
Excellent. Oh, I'm really glad that's there.
So that's clearly what that's going. I mean, again, this shows they're going. Look, we don't care. We want to promote that this is done by a team like this, because that's going to put some people off. And to be honest, they're the sort of people. If it was me, I go, I don't want you playing my game anyway.
Exactly. Although,
unless you're open to the idea, I do one.
Yeah. Although I can imagine it is a difficult kind of balance because at the same time you want to bring people in who are prejudiced so you can hopefully break their prejudices.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing that they've done there to put that front and centre.
Yeah, but again, with that, you want the people who've got those prejudices, but are the ones who still going to play it, be the ones who are maybe willing to listen.
Absolutely.
But you could go the other way, which I thought was hilarious, was that drifting racing game, whatever it was, where they had an LGBTQ toggle on it.
Right.
And it had basically an LGBTQ plus flag filter. And it's set to, I think, off to start with, the filter, though it shows all the LGBTQ plus flags. And then if you switch it on, the filter, people assume that it'll turn them off completely. All it does is add more.
Nice.
So people were getting angry about it and like going on to Steam reviews and proper kicking off. But they obviously had no idea because it wasn't advertised on the Steam page or anything. And you basically have people outing themselves as homophobic and like prejudice and everything. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
That would have been their intention as well.
Brilliant.
That's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, again, this is why, I mean, if I'm not a writer anyway, but I couldn't write a person of colour because I can't write a black person or an Asian person. I can't do that without it coming across as slightly racist sounding because I'm trying to imagine what that's like rather than writing naturally. But yeah, it works really well here. Diversity is there. I think there's some LGBTQ diversity in there. Again, it's not made obvious.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's not a fun game overall. Again, it's bleak. Not as bleak as the first so far, but it is bleak. So it's one of those like this war of mine. You don't play it for fun. You play it because you're interested in what the story is and the message is. Yeah,
and it's great that we're at a place now where you can actually do that in games, It's come on such a long way. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.